All right, bro. So, work-life balance don't exist. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I felt the way I felt this way, since I've been, on my entrepreneurship journey.
Yeah.
Myron Golden solidified it.
Yeah.
Until you came to me with this, what you call it?
Work-life integration.
So let's get into that.
Yeah.
All right. And we're gonna start with this video.
Yep.
And I felt like, old boy, he stole your whole flow.
Bar for bar. Bar for bar.
And in my mind, I'm like, he must be right. You know what I mean? And this is coming from Vosu. I don't know.
No such thing as work-life balance.
Hey.
To be clear, it exists for those who are comfortable following the mapped trajectory of their careers. If you are comfortable living and following the timelines that society has given you, then work-life balance is perfectly fine. But if you want to accelerate your career, you're not going to achieve work-life balance. I could spend hours giving you actual evidence of executives I've met and interviewed who have told me personal stories about challenges they have faced with this thing called work-life balance, until all of them began to understand that it's actually work-life integration. How do I have my partner and my children in this room with you here today because I've been traveling for the week and I'd like to spend some time with family? How do you integrate your family into your business, into your life, and your life into your family? This thing called work-life balance is difficult because it creates a tension for us. I'm not sure if it's just me, but there were times in my life when around 5, 6 o'clock would hit and I'd find myself getting anxious because I still had a to-do list of 10 things my day hadn't started, and now and I'm under pressure to get home. And I hear an amen from somebody. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me. Maybe the rest of y'all are perfect, So this thing about work-life balance causes incredible amounts of anxiety. I know it did for me. And to unshackle myself from it is when I realized that actually I just need to integrate these two things. There is.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
All right, bro. So first of all, I need to send this to my wife. Let me do this right now. Let me do this while it's on my mind, bro. Let me send this to my wife.
While you send it to your wife, the first thing that popped in my head is, and this is not accurate, but this is my radical side.
Okay.
Work-life balance is for people who are average.
Yeah.
Like,
it's true.
And it's not true. Here's why it's not true.
You don't think it's true?
Because there's people that don't have a career and they just work a job, and it's just they go, they do their thing, and they go home. There's like factories, right? Fast food industry, right? Like even like to a certain extent, like healthcare industry, right? Like
oh yeah.
They go, you show up for your appointment, okay, at 5 o'clock, they shutting down, they going home, and all those things, right?
Right.
But for these entrepreneurs out here, for these dogs, you can't. It ain't no such thing as work-life balance. If you're trying to get it, if you really want to really, make something happen, make something shape for generations, right. Like, ain't no such thing as work-life balance.
Yeah, that is true, man. That is true, bro. I think I struggle with the idea of work-life balance, in entrepreneurship. I guess when I first started out, and just like he said, you would get anxiety, like, dang, bro, I got this many things to do, and so I want to go out and play. I mean, which I love spending time with my family, but at the end of the day, I get paid based on efforts. Right. You know what I mean? So if the efforts, production. If the production is not there, then I don't get paid. Like even on the holidays, we might have a day off work. Right. What, Columbus Day coming up or something? And you know what I mean? And certain people get to take off. But I still gotta have that project done. You feel me? Yeah. So yeah, I struggle with that, man. Like, but this work-life integration though, bro. Like, you brought this to my attention like a few years ago. I think I definitely still struggle with that. Yeah. I still struggle with that because, at the end of the day, I have not figured out a way to bridge what I do. Well, I have started the Robinson Media Solutions.
There we go. There we go.
So everybody is on the operating agreement. Everybody, like my family, you feel me? Like we're all there, but I still haven't figured this thing out yet, man. So I just want to talk about it. I want to talk about it.
Yeah. I used to struggle with, like, I used to hate the term like work-life balance.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
And let's kind of dissect it a little bit, right? Kind of get into it a little bit.
Okay.
Work-life balance, the word itself, it insinuates that there's a 50% portion of work and a 50% portion of life.
Right.
And off the rip, right? When you really think about it, how many hours in a week?
Man,
like 168, I think.
24 times 7, yeah, something like that.
Yep, 168, right?
We're gonna say that. We're gonna go with that.
And how many hours do you work, or the average person work?
Average person, what, 8 hours, 40 hours a week?
40 hours a week, right? So essentially, just the work, the word itself doesn't necessarily coincide with what's the American structure. Yeah, because you're working less than your life is.
Right.
You're only working 40 hours out of the 160. That's
only a third.
25%, right?
Yeah, something like that.
No, my math could be, no, it's not 25%. It's whatever. But it's like it's not even half of your, so knowing that, right? People, so when you're asked to work a little bit more than that, then it becomes, let's say if it's 50 hours a week or 60 hours a week, it's still not 50% of your week.
Right. Oh no, man. Because you got to think about it. It takes, and this is what I thought. It takes an hour to get ready.
Okay.
Then you got to drive to, that takes another on average. I don't know what people are driving.
Right, 30 minutes.
30 minutes
on average.
Then you leave, take another 30 minutes to get home. So, I mean, I guess the preparation for work and the post, there's a word for that, but after work.
Yeah, but that's not work. I get it. Yeah. That's not work. But that leads to my next point, right? Is like, okay, because there's more than just work and then just stuff that you want to do. Right. You also got to sleep. Yeah. You also got to, you know what I'm saying? You got to eat. You got to do all these things. And what it really boils down to is like, okay, if I'm working a 9 to 5, is that 8 hours a day? 8 hours? 9 to 5, yeah. So if I work a 9 to 5, like you said, let's say an hour to get ready and get to work or whatever, so 8, right? It's going to take you 30 minutes to get home. Maybe you might stop to the grocery store, an hour to get home. So really it's like 8 to 6, right? So what are you doing from 6 to 10? And that's like, you're tired. Yeah. Like you're not gonna go in a read for 2 hours on whatever, right? Or you may maybe on a Friday you might go out and go to the club or go to a date or something like that, right?
Something, yeah,
but you're not gonna do that every day, right?
Nah.
So the whole premise of work-life integration is, how can I, integrate my life with what I'm already responsible for in a work environment or work-wise, to be able to also have that fun, right? And to give my family what they need, right? Also give my, my career what it needs to be able to continue to ascend. Right. So,
well, man, I wish we had some typical practices.
What you mean?
Like some how we like to do it. What did it take to integrate your work life?
Like steps.
Yeah, I wish we had some steps, man. Cause shoot, if anybody needs steps, it's me. You feel me, man? Because most of the time, like either I'm at the studio or at the desk editing, man. So I mean, I can have them in a room with me.
Yeah. I think it depends on your structure, right? Like if you work for somebody, you can't have your kid at work. Yeah. Right. That's not going to happen. Right. Yeah. But if you're an entrepreneur, you can have them with you, right? So maybe it's a situation where, okay, I'm gonna work from 9 or 8 to 12, and in that time, all right, it's gonna get interesting, right? But
it's like a warning shot.
Yeah, you know, in that time though, right? All right, I'm gonna put on Coco Melon for the first 30 minutes to an hour, depending on your kid, depending on their time frame. And this is how my mind works, by the way. So like, I know some people who are watching this are like, this is not realistic. You don't know my life, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But like, don't take what I'm saying.
Right.
Take what I'm trying to say.
It makes sense.
You know, like, don't just, oh, I can't do that at 8:30 because I got this call with this person at 8:30. That's not going to work, or whatever it is. Right. Like, like the whole purpose of it is, you know, if you're somebody that works from home, or, you know, or again, an entrepreneur, have that hour that you set for work, but then, you know, take a 30-minute break, 15 minutes for you, 15 minutes for the kid.
Right.
And then what you'll start doing, and this is where it gets interesting, right? Or fun or whatever. Your kids don't know any different.
Nah.
You grew up kind of poor, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, you didn't know that, like, you didn't know that you didn't have
right
until you went to school, and other people was like,
you ain't got.
Yeah, like, you got joned on for having some
even to this day, I'm still realizing like I didn't really have much.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so like, your kids are not going to know any different. Your kids are not going to feel less loved or feel less, you know, important.
Right.
This is just how it is. This is, you know, this is just, you know, like I was listening to DeMar DeRozan on a podcast. He was like, dang, I didn't realize that, you know, I grew up in Compton. I didn't realize it was dangerous until I left Compton. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, that's the reality though. Like, people don't realize that, you know, like, dang, you know, this may be a little bit different until they get out of that. But by then, you've been able to, you know, and this is also the other part of it too, about entrepreneurship and like people that are business owners or people that run a business, right? You're condensing time frames. Right. So like, people treat their career or their company like it's a 9 to 5. And what I mean by that is, okay, let's say you were a receptionist before you became an entrepreneur, right? And you went to work at 9, you got off at 5, and boom, whatever, right? How many years does somebody have to work to be able to retire? An average person.
Man, 40 years.
40 years.
40 years.
Right? 40 years, right? And the reality of it is, as an entrepreneur or a CEO of a company, or, you know, a mid to high level manager, right? You're condensing time frames.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That see, and that's what most don't understand. You know, and I think this is where the whole work-life balance is being misused, or you know what I mean, when it comes to like entrepreneurship, because condensing a time frame requires concentration. You know what I mean? So, you know, working here, I can retire in 30 years, but I'm condensing 30 into maybe 10. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it takes a lot. It takes a person who has vision to do that too, man. So yeah.
Right. I was telling somebody this other day, man, like, and I'd do it again. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do it again, right? Because like, I worked really, really hard my first 6-7 years in the company.
Right.
Like, when I say really hard, I mean, I did whatever it took, whatever, you know, and I still do that to this day, but my requirements are a lot different.
It's a little different,
right?
Yeah.
But like, you know, I got to work at 6:30, 7 o'clock on a lot of days. I left work 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock on a lot of days. Right. You know, weekends, if I got somebody getting ready to, you know, promote, or they need a little extra attention with, you know, just getting ready, or just need to learn the business a little bit more. Right. I would, you know, do that. Right. So my point is that, like, but I did it for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Right. Now I don't have to do that. I don't have to, like, if I wanted to wake up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I could.
Right.
Get to work at 9 o'clock, I could. Right. If I wanted to leave at 3 o'clock, I could.
Right.
Right. Like, as long as the performance is there, that's really all that matters for the most part. Right. Like, I don't, because I love what I do. Right. But it's just one of those things where if people can understand that the vehicle that you have, you're driving a Lamborghini like it's a Honda.
I like that.
Right.
I like that.
Like don't drive like you're in a Lamborghini. If you're in entrepreneurship, if you're in business, you're in a Lamborghini.
Yeah. It requires
treat it as such.
Requires a lot of expensive maintenance.
No, not even that. Just like stop going 60 miles per hour when you can go 160.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Because eventually, right, when you sell that Lamborghini, if you buy the right one, right, so it doesn't matter which company you're in, it doesn't matter what type of business you run. If you buy the right one, you'll be able to sell that car back more than what you bought it.
It appreciates. Yeah.
It appreciates.
Right. And see, that's what I mean. So in the aspect as to vehicles, it requires maintenance, expensive maintenance. You see what I'm saying? And it gas may not be the same price,
right,
that you put in the Lambo,
right,
that you would in a Honda,
yep,
or getting a carburetor or whatever. I don't know, man. I ain't no auto mechanic, but getting a catalytic converter changed in a Lamborghini is different from a Honda. You know what I mean? So it's gonna take more.
Yeah.
But it gets you far really fast.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So that's that's entrepreneurship, man. So yeah, man, I guess so when it comes to work-life balance, we have to understand that first the vehicle that it is a vehicle that's gonna take us with. I guess we have to be future focused.
Yeah, you gotta be future focused.
You know what I mean?
Yep, 1,000%.
And it's gonna take some compromising, when it comes to that. But how do you think you get your family on board with that? You know what I mean? Like this is what you're doing. How can you? Because one thing I do is like on the days I edit. So some days like twice a week, my wife goes into work. So it's just me and my son.
Yep.
So I bring my whole setup downstairs in the dining room, and he's watching Coco Melon while I'm working. Right. Then I might have a time to break away while, like a project is rendering or uploading. I can just play with him or whatever. And then when it's done, it's probably his nap time, put him back to sleep, go back and work. Yep. You know what I mean? So I think that's one way that I can kind of do it.
Or let's say if you had a child that required all the attention on Tuesdays and Mondays and Tuesdays?
Tuesdays and Fridays, I think. Yeah.
2 days a week, whatever it is, right? Like those days you just have to be able to just not work. Like those are your off days.
Oh man.
Those are your off days because again, we look at it we're so Saturday and Sunday, that's my off day.
Right. Yeah.
Well, because of what's going on, Tuesdays and Fridays are my off days. I work Saturdays and Sundays.
Right. Well, Saturdays, Sundays, I try to. That's the Lord's day.
You can make Tuesday your Lord's day. It doesn't.
That's
like
Lord's day.
Like that's again that's I ain't gonna say it's made up, but it's like it's made up. It's made up. It's not. Where is it? Where is it in the Bible? Where is it in the Bible? Where is it in the Bible?
You do need a day of rest.
You do need a day of rest.
Yeah. Well, what I mean.
But who said that has to be Sunday?
No, it ain't got to be.
That's my point.
Well, pastors don't really get Sundays.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And so, and it is weekends I do preach.
Exactly.
So I think that's the thing too. Like, so honestly, I don't think I get a weekend. You know what I mean? Because especially if I have projects that's due Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, I have to and it might be light work though. You feel me? It might be light work, but I do know during the week, and most time it's Wednesdays where I do give my time to the Lord because my spirituality is very important.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it isn't necessarily set on Sundays because again, that may be days I'm preaching. So, people don't understand. Pastors working, man. Also, like that's a lot of work to prepare a sermon. You know what I mean? And you gotta prepare it, and then you gotta preach it on Sunday. You know, so like that's a whole another thing. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I see what you're saying though. You just pick days that's suitable for your situation.
But it's my message to you as well, like, or somebody in your situation. And it's lyric of the week.
Wait. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Lyric of the week.
Hey, let me get it. I had it and it just that's it. Had to go and grind. Everybody had to go and grind. Everybody around me hustling. And it's by Kevin Gates.
Okay.
And basically what that lyric means to me is that, like, I have to create the environment that coincides with what I need. Had to go and grind because everybody around me hustling. So what I mean by that is, like, don't get so caught up in what the environment that you're in today, because that, if you look at that and that model of success and that model of what everybody else, if you did what your parents did and all those things, then you won't ever do anything differently, because that's how you've known everything to be. What I do is I challenge you, right, specifically, and other people that's watching as well, right? It's just like think about your life differently. If you didn't have a blueprint at all, if there was no Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? If there was no, how would you construct your week? What would you do on day 1? What would you do on day 2? What would you do on day 3? And really, like, because I think there's like, in my opinion, right? Like, when you talk about your Lord's Day, that Tuesday that your wife has to work, bro, like, you and your son,
Those can't be the same. That's totally different, bro.
That's expand it. This one. I know. I see how you looking at me.
Go ahead.
Right. I'm gonna say it. You may not agree with it, but I'm just telling you what my perspective. Right.
Right.
What would your son's relationship with God look like if on Tuesdays, every Tuesday, y'all talk with the Lord with each other? You read the Bible with him. You really, like, study. You're studying for yourself, but you're also breaking it down for him as well. Like, what would that look like when he's 2, 3, 4, 5? You've been doing it for the last 5 years. What would that relationship look like? I'm not saying it's more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Not
Concept?
No, well, not a concept, but like what they say, an answer that you don't supposed to a question that you don't answer. Rhetorical. It's a rhetorical question, right? But, like, just think about, and it may be that specific thing, but just think about what it could look like, right? Like, and I'll give you an example, right?
Well, I mean, that's different, bro. Like, so because when I'm talking about the Lord's Day, I'm talking about my relationship with the Lord, not my son and my relationship, because now that's discipling. That's different.
Is it?
It is different. It is different.
Why does it have to be different?
Because my relationship is different from my son relationship with the Lord. So if I'm teaching my son, that's discipleship.
No, yes, you're right.
That doesn't make, just like a pastor, when a pastor is preaching, that doesn't mean that's his day,
right? Because he's preaching.
Because he's preaching.
You're learning.
He's working. You see what I'm saying?
I'm saying you're learning, right? And you're just he's right there learning with you. Like, whatever you would do normally, you're doing that. He's just right there watching and like kind of soaking it up as well. Not saying you have to, like, like, you know, right. I'm just saying though, like, whatever day, I'm just saying whatever, like, he's seeing you, like, go through your process. That's what I mean by that. Not like you're, like, intentionally, like, teaching him and like okay. You could do something, like, some people didn't do that, but I'm just saying my point is that
those they can be, but those they can be.
I disagree.
That can't be.
I disagree.
Not with a 2-year. Not with my son.
I disagree.
Oh, okay. Wait, I want to see you try it. You want us leaving here for another week?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, like, is it gonna work right now? Maybe not.
Nah,
right?
I'm not saying it won't work ever, but I'm saying just not right now.
But it has to start somewhere.
Yeah, when he's a little bit more mature.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? But right now, it's just not. You know what I mean? And here's what I'm saying. Like, going back to work-life balance, he's not at that stage. Not work-life integration. He's not at that stage for me to integrate him into that routine. You see what I'm saying? Like, me, and that's how I work, period. Like, I would integrate him into things as he began to mature. So like now I can bring my computer downstairs and do work while he watch CoComelon. You know, but me necessarily like praying, and it is because he can walk upstairs while I'm in the room praying and read my scripture and stuff like that, and just bust in, but he's gonna crawl on me and in my face, you know what I mean? So it's not like it's not it. That's still
maybe not like right now, right? But like I guess like what I'm trying to say.
Now like, when he becomes curious, then we can get into that.
Or maybe even when he's not curious, we can just be quiet. But whatever. Like, and I give you an example of what I mean by that. So like every day. So it started out with me and my wife. We would pray every day, right? And then somehow, I don't know when it started or how it started or whatever, but like the kids would be around and we would pray. We would like hold hands or whatever. We would pray, and they doing all this moving. You know, they trying to do all this talking while we praying. They do it, whatever, right? Like it's a lot going on, right? But we still did it, right? And now it's at the point where each day, each person has a day to pray, and then on Fridays we pray together. Okay. We all say that, so like on Mondays I pray. Typically I do like a I'm gonna say a made up prayer, but like just like a freestyle prayer, right?
Okay.
On Tuesdays, my wife does a prayer, typically freestyle. So
you be rapping?
You know what I'm saying? Hey, bars, boy.
Go ahead.
Wednesday, my Quattro prays, but he does the Lord's Prayer.
Okay.
Thursday, Mason does the Lord's Prayer. Okay. And then Friday, we do as a family, we do the Lord's Prayer. Okay. And they're able to pray a lot better than I could at their age. Like I think I didn't really learn the Lord's Prayer until maybe like middle school or something like that, right? And like even after that, it was still like fuzzy, right? Right. So like my point is like had I not integrated them into my spiritual life, and I know we talking about work and whatever, but like I think it also matters with your spiritual life too.
We talking about integration.
Yeah. And
integration.
They wouldn't be as far along with their relationship with God as they are. Right. Right. So I think at the end of the day, right, like, and it's stuff like, I think we go back to the work piece, right? Like if I do an event, I'm gonna do a family event, like for all my people, all my team. Right. I'm gonna make it a family event. Yeah, for sure. That way they can bring their kids. I bring my kids. Right. We all work together. You know what I'm saying? Like really, like that's work life integration. They're still able to have a great time. Like, and I'm able to connect with my team. Like, and there's gonna be wrong. Don't be wrong. There's days, there's moments, there's times, there's events or whatever that it is just work, and without the family or whatever. But like, I think you just have to be intentional with, in my opinion, you have to be intentional with setting up your life around where you have days or you have moments, you have times where you're specifically intentional about making it integrated versus.
Right. I see in my situation, it's not an issue. It's just that my son is young now. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think once he become older, it'll be easier.
Yeah, I think it's an excuse.
No, it's not an excuse.
Because it's why I say not saying an excuse like
it's not an excuse. Happen. Because my son is.
I think you have to figure out ways to where your son. And this is my perspective. I think you have to figure out ways to get things accomplished at the age that he's at now. Whatever that looks like, it may not look traditional. Whatever that looks like. Okay. And this is where like I see a lot of single parents struggle at, right? And I know you're not a single parent, but but what I see a lot of single parents struggle at is they don't utilize their village as much as they need to.
Right. But we do.
I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying like whatever it takes, we got to do whatever it takes to get things done. Okay. Whatever that looks like.
So I took my son to a business meeting 2 weeks ago. And now, thank God, the lady was like, she loved kids.
And why would you take her to a business meeting?
A work-life integration.
All right, keep going.
Because my wife, she was at work.
Okay.
So I had to be at a meeting because this is the client and then she's bringing a lot of people too. Okay. So I was like, son, we just gonna make it happen, Okay. So, we go.
What did they say about it?
Who, the people?
Yeah, like ahead of time. What they say?
I mean, I told Mr. P I'm bringing my son.
Okay.
He was like, okay. I mean, so what I did was I put on Coco Melon in the control room. But while I'm talking, he kept coming out, trying to get in my lap, like, Daddy, like, you know how you hit me, like, you want my attention. And then the lady was like, just give him 2 minutes. I was like, give him all day. He been with me all day. You know what I mean? Like, he had my attention all day. And then he get hungry. He started screaming and crying. Yeah. It's just not, it's not going to work, bro.
All right. So
unless we have a sitter at the studio, it's not.
Well, I think it's okay. All right. So this is how I look at that.
Okay.
You got your baby at a business meeting. That's not idealistic at all, right?
Okay.
Right. So, but let's say that you have no other option, right? Because that's where like again, that's why I use single parents as a because some single parents don't have a village,
right?
I mean, they have to get creative on how they, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Dang, I don't know if I want to go there. I'm gonna go in there. Okay. So you have to and this is where the sacrifice comes in at. You got two options.
What's the option?
Because it's expensive. Daycare is expensive, and like a sitter is expensive, and whatever, right? And some people, and I'm gonna just tell you what it is. Some people feel like they can't afford it, a sitter or whatever it is, right? But you can. Because, and this is gonna sound crazy, it's gonna sound inconsiderate, it's gonna sound whatever, it is what it is. Because I know how radical I think sometimes about certain things, and I know what the world thinks. I'm very aware of it, right?
Okay.
But I'm also one of those people that if I had to, what I did, I'm one of those people that I didn't have a bed when I was like I didn't have a bed when I was on my entrepreneur, like 100% entrepreneur,
right?
And I had an apartment, like I couldn't afford a bed.
Okay.
Some people gonna go out and take a loan out because they want this bed and they really don't want the bottom of the tier bed. They really want the nicer bed,
right?
And so now you know what I'm saying. Like I have a very like minimalistic survivalist style viewpoint.
All right, so
decrease your lifestyle so you can afford what's going to make you more money. That's one option, right? Not saying you, I'm just saying, I'm just saying, single parents in general, right? A lot of times you have the money to do it, but because you have this really nice apartment that you want to give up, right? Or you have this really, whatever you have, you got this, whatever it is, you paying a car note when you can go get a cash car, right? Like, you wanna look better than what you really are. That's part of it, right? And I get it, but because certain things that you want to sacrifice, certain things you're not, right? But for you in your situation, right? I think the second option, right, is okay. I got a business meeting. It's not ideal, right? But it's the only option I have because that's saying like it's the only option I have. Let's say that what I would do. Just say what I would do. Agree with it or not. I'm going to communicate with that client. Hey, we can. What day you like to meet? I like to meet on this day. Hey, I can absolutely do that date. However, I just want to make sure I'm transparent with you. My wife works at this day, so this time, I can do it if it's the only day you have. But I'll have to bring my son with me.
Oh yeah, that was communicated.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Or I would love to give you my undivided attention on this date, and you sell them on why they need to come on this other date. But that's one option. That's one part of the second option, right? Let's say you have to do it on that day. Don't matter what day you have it, whatever your village is not, whatever. The other option, or the next thing that you do, is you got that because you have that understanding that this is what it's going to look like. And you walk them through what it's going to look like. Hey, my son is very, what's the word?
My wife say rambunctious.
Okay, rambunctious.
I don't know if that's
a daddy word right there.
I don't know if that's a bad term. I don't know. I gotta look that up.
Well, it's just like hyper. That's what that. I was into stuff. I don't know if that's
necessarily. I don't think my son is like that, though.
My son requires a lot of attention. to say that. So in the meeting, I'm gonna have them in this other in the other room, but there may be times where I have to, right? But you paint the picture for that client on what it's gonna look like.
Actually, so
I'm just
no, that makes sense. How that went down though, I really didn't have to be there, but I was needed there. If that makes sense.
It don't make sense.
So Mr. P, wanted me to explain the business side of, video marketing, video podcasting.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because we both have our own expertise.
Yeah.
So it was like, it would be really good if you're here, you know what I mean? To actually, I ain't gonna say sell the client, but, sell the client.
Yeah.
In case she's looking. but you here now. But anyway.
Well, that's what it's part of it. But okay, so how long was Cocomelon going?
So I told,
How long was Cocomelon going?
What you mean, that day?
Yeah. Like how long did you get through? How much of the meeting did you get through?
Nah, man, we got through a bit much. Yeah.
So
yeah.
This is also how you structure things too, right? Again, like what I would do in that situation is, hey, I'm gonna have him talk about the whatever first, so that way he can because you set the expectations up front.
Yeah.
And it depends. Again, this way you got to know your kid too, right? Like, you know what your kids can and can't do, what they're not, whatever, right? You spend enough time with them, right? So like, structure your meetings around their attention span. If you know you got 20 minutes or I got 16 minutes before they come in, they ask for something, right? And then, okay, when they come and ask for something, what requires them now? Is it food? Is it some milk? Is it some whatever, right? Give them that. Okay, that bought me another 7 minutes.
Right.
So whatever structure you're meeting around that time frame to. Again, I know it sounds like a lot and it sounds crazy.
Honestly, it is a lot.
But like this is what you have to do to be successful. Like this is what in my opinion.
I'm gonna say this because in all of that, there's a lot of moving parts. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So all of that, you have to still maintain the other moving parts.
Okay.
You feel me? Now, all of that did happen that day. You know, it just wasn't like, hey, it was like, hey, I'm bringing my son. Mr. P was like, okay, we're just gonna do this, and I ain't gonna be long. That's how it was. But we said what we need to say. We got done what we need to get done. But at the end of the day, I still have like other moving parts, components of the business. I have to have this project done by tomorrow. This project need to be done by tonight. You see what I'm saying? I got my son till my wife get home. Who has the time to sit there and just, you see what I'm saying?
I do. Cause like you have to be you have to challenge your strategicness.
But when you're doing that though, you're still taking away time from your family.
We're focused. Here's the thing: we're focused on the result. like we have focused on the. I get it. It's not convenient. It's not easy. I get all that.
I see. We are, but when we talk about integration now, are we taking away time, or are we? You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Now I do agree. It would take, at the base of what you're saying, communication.
Right.
I do agree with communication. I do have to get better, at that with my wife. Like, we need to sit down. This is what we got. But sometimes I be so overwhelmed. I just need to kind of like take a moment, communicate. Hey, this is what we got this week. We need to kind of just plan on how we're gonna do everything. Now I do get that part, but sometimes to think about, all of that in the midst of the week, and then you have all these moving parts, then it's gonna pull from something else or take away from something else. So I think in that aspect, you have to be quite sure of what you want to sacrifice, if that makes sense.
Well, we're talking about a business meeting, by the way. Yeah. So there's no like integration in a business meeting. You're trying to get out.
I integrated, man.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't, because I don't think that's necessarily like, that's not integration.
I'll say, well, okay.
That's not integration.
Let's get back to what integration is then. So let's talk about what is integration?
Integration is what I was talking about, where if I have an event, I'm gonna bring in my kids, it's gonna be a family event. Like, that's integration. Integration is, okay, if I have to be somewhere, like kind of like the guy talked about, like if I have to be somewhere and I got to stay in a hotel, right? Like, I'm gonna bring, if my kids don't have school or whatever, I'm gonna bring my kids and have them stay in that hotel that night and then just do something throughout the day while I'm in a meeting, and then we all ride together and we talk about, you know, with a day on the way home from whatever whatever it is, right? Like, or we find the time, okay, when I get done, we're gonna go and do this, right? Like that's integration, because normally in that situation, I'll be away from them for an extra, let's say if I'm going to, I don't know, somewhere 3 hours away, right? And normally I'll be away from them 6 hours.
Okay.
Right. So, but I'm really getting those 6 hours back with my family because they're riding in the car with me.
Oh.
And because they came with me, maybe I got an extra hour or 2 hours because after I handled what I needed to handle professionally, we were able to go and get some ice cream at Chick-fil-A and play on the whatever, right? Like things like that.
So
that's, yeah.
So pretty much finding the time to spend time with your family while working, that's integration.
Yes.
So what makes my business meeting not an integration?
Huh?
My business meeting, how is that not an?
Well, the reason I say it's not integration because like it's so you're not really spending time with your son.
Okay, so
yeah,
okay, I got
that.
So that particular
okay,
got you.
That 30 minutes.
That was a meeting.
Yes, like
Makes
that's a
sense.
meeting.
So work-life integration is finding time to spend with the family while working or in the process of working. Cause I think about this too, man. Listening to I haven't heard in a while, but what is it? Secret to Success. Eric them.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about how they have a speaking gig in like Hawaii or something, right?
Yep.
But they'll take their family and you know, that's so when I think about work-life integration, I think about that stuff too.
Yep.
Like we ain't at the point yet where we're going out of town, but when we do, you know.
Yeah. And I think, and it's and maybe you know what, and this is why I say like work-life balance is a myth, because there's no such thing as balance.
Nah.
Right. And like there's work and then there's life. You know, like now it could be integrated.
Yeah.
It could be integrated in those situations. But sometimes like, bro, like work is gonna be up here and life is gonna be down here. Like that's just the reality of it. Like you're not gonna have, you're not gonna have the perfect day every day.
Man, unless you're what's the guy's name? Mark Zuckerberg.
What you mean?
Nah, like I read an article. I think I mentioned this on a podcast. What time you think Mark Zuckerberg wake up?
Oh, I think you did mention. I don't remember what time.
He wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. He have a normal breakfast with his family, and he's just on like business calls or stuff like that all day. He might have to go to a meeting, but he get to come back to his family. But I'm pretty sure there was a time where he didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think just where you are too in your entrepreneur endeavors, like because you might be in a season where you're in grind mode. You know what I mean? So I do think that there are levels of integration, working your family into what you're doing. Because we're not at a point yet where we can just go to California at a conference and speak and make, $150K. And then, you know what I mean? We're not there yet, but I think that for where we are now, we can practice, some of those things. Or what?
Yeah. And I guess what I'm trying to say, because I just want to get like what's the message here? Like what's the message? The message is that although work-life balance is a myth, because you'll never be 50-50 on anything work-related or life-related.
You bring LaDonna back in the conversation. 50-50, boy. 50-50. Hey, go ahead.
There's points in your life that you're gonna be, work is gonna be higher than life, and that's okay.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be a lot more during the first 5 to 10 years of your career than it will in the latter parts of your career,
right?
When it really matters,
right? Because
and I think it's the other part too, where it's like my kids don't really remember, like me not being able, me working as much as I did or whatever. Like they just know what's happening today,
right?
And it's what's gonna happen for the next 10 years,
right? That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like they don't. That's all they know. So it's like which would you rather have? And it depends on, the person, right? I'd rather be there for I'd rather be there more for, them learning how to, drive, them learning, how to, becoming teenagers, and
those are critical parts.
Then
becoming a man, and
then them learning how to walk. I get it, right? Like, the first step, you want to be there for it and all those things, right? I get that. Or it's that first, time playing soccer, and you want to be able to, catch all the games and all that, like, whatever. I get all that, right?
Right.
But I guarantee you it'll be more impactful for your kid for you to be there when they are excelling or they're trying to excel. Like Quattro coming to his own right now.
Yeah.
He's 6 years old now, right? Like, coming into his own in terms of playing football and being decent, right?
Right.
And I'd rather be able to spend his time now than having to work 8 to 5 for the next 40 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or 9 to 5, whatever, for the next 40 years.
Right.
And not be able to, and then, like, also that, and because, I say it with all respect, but F them kids, right? Because your spouse is the most important thing behind a relationship with God, right?
Right, yeah.
So like, when I think about it too, right? Like, 20 years from now, I want to be retired, should be 50 whatever years old, right? Like, we could travel the world. We can do what we want to do for real.
Yeah, that's
kids out of the house.
That's what I'm at.
Right? Like, so it's like,
yeah.
So, like, that's always the focus as well. So it's like, don't get so consumed right now and trying to make every single thing right now. Like, it doesn't, like, it's not going to make a difference if you're able to go to muffins with moms, or donuts with dads. Like, it's like, so what, you missed 5 years of that, 10 years of that. When they turn 10, like, when they, like, and you're able to be there for all those things plus more and be able to take their friends out, and, like, now you're the cool parent, now you're the cool kid because
they're wondering what your dad do.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like that's, and that's what that's my goal of get people to understand, is that it's all work-life integration. You want to spend as much time with your family as you can, and you want to be able to and bring them into the the fold on your businesses and
your
things
world,
that you got, your world, right? Your
business world,
whatever. Because you want them to see that too, and them see what it looks like to work hard and all those things, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about what it looks like 20 years from now.
Right. Amen.
Got a little intense there, huh?
What? Oh, no. I think we're good, man. Now I'm looking at the time like, man, we went into this one. Okay, cool. I think we need to really come back to this conversation, though.
Yeah, we will.
I think we need to come back to this conversation, and we need to come up with some practical steps as to how to do the integration. And when I figured out, in my life,
because you concerned about it. Stick and move, we can get it done. Call it unity, it ain't no way around it. Cultivating, we get motivation from the big guy. We don't play about it. Going hard for the game, showing.